The Sparkling Fish Bowl, A Tale of Responsibility. And now, attention. A riddle. I swim in circles all day long, in a glass home where I belong. My memory's short, or so they say. But how long can I actually stay? Maybe it's 3 days. Or 3 weeks. Or 3 years. You will find out the correct answer at the end of the story. In a cozy little house on Maple Street lived a boy named Tommy and his pet fish, Bubbles. Bubbles was a beautiful betta fish with shimmering blue scales and flowing fins that danced in the water like ribbons in the wind. Tommy had begged his parents for a pet, and they agreed to let him have a fish, thinking it would be an excellent way to teach him about responsibility. At first, Tommy was thrilled with his new aquatic friend. He would spend hours watching Bubbles swim gracefully around his bowl, making funny faces at the fish, and talking to him about his day at school. But as the days went by, Tommy started to forget about his promise to take care of Bubbles. One sunny afternoon, as Tommy rushed in from playing soccer with his friends, he noticed something strange. Bubbles wasn't swimming as energetically as usual. Instead, he was floating near the surface, his once vibrant colors looking dull and lifeless. "Bubbles? Are you okay?" Tommy asked, tapping gently on the glass. To his amazement, Bubbles turned to face him and spoke. "Tommy," the fish said in a bubbly voice, "I need your help. My home is getting dirty, and it's making me feel sick." Tommy's eyes widened in surprise. "You can talk," he gasped. Bubbles nodded his tiny head. "Of course I can. All pets can talk to their owners, but only when it's really important. And right now it's very important. You promised to take care of me, remember?" Guilt washed over Tommy as he looked closely at Bubbles' bowl. The water was cloudy, and bits of uneaten food floated on the surface. The colorful pebbles at the bottom were covered in a slimy film. "Oh no, Bubbles." "I'm so sorry," Tommy said, his voice filled with remorse. "I forgot to clean your bowl. What should I do?" Bubbles swam a little closer to Tommy. "Don't worry, I'll teach you how to keep my home clean and healthy. But you have to promise to do it regularly from now on. Taking care of a pet is a big responsibility." Tommy nodded eagerly. "I promise, Bubbles. I want to be a good pet owner." "Excellent," Bubbles exclaimed. "Now, let's get started. First, we need to gather some supplies." Under Bubbles' guidance, Tommy collected everything he needed: a clean bucket, a small net, an algae scrubber, and some water conditioner. Bubbles explained each step carefully as Tommy followed along. "Okay, Tommy. The first thing we need to do is prepare a temporary home for me while you clean my bowl," Bubbles instructed. "Fill the bucket with room temperature water and add a few drops of water conditioner. This will make the water safe for me to live in for a short time." Tommy did as he was told, carefully measuring the water and adding the conditioner. Once it was ready, he gently scooped Bubbles into the net and transferred him to the bucket. "Great job," Tommy, Bubbles said, swimming around his temporary home. "Now, let's tackle the bowl." Tommy emptied the dirty water from the bowl into the sink, being careful not to pour out the pebbles. He rinsed the pebbles thoroughly and set them aside. "Now comes the fun part," Bubbles said with a grin. "Use the algae scrubber to clean the inside of the bowl. Make sure you get all the corners." Tommy scrubbed diligently, watching as the glass became crystal clear again. He rinsed the bowl several times to make sure all the soap was gone. "Perfect," Bubbles cheered. "Now, put the clean pebbles back in and refill the bowl with fresh water. Don't forget the water conditioner." As Tommy added the conditioner to the newly filled bowl, Bubbles continued his lesson. It's important to use conditioner because it removes harmful chemicals from tap water that could hurt me. Always remember that, okay? Tommy nodded, taking mental notes of everything Bubbles was teaching him. Now, the water in my bowl needs to be the same temperature as the water I'm in now, Bubbles explained. Otherwise, I might get shocked by the change. Can you check? Tommy carefully dipped a finger in both the bucket and the bowl. They feel the same to me, he said. Great. Then it's time for me to go home, Bubbles said excitedly. With utmost care, Tommy used the net to scoop Bubbles out of the bucket and gently release him into his newly cleaned bowl. Bubbles swam around happily, his colors already looking brighter. Wow, Bubbles. You look so much better already, Tommy exclaimed. Bubbles did a little flip in the water. I feel better too. A clean home makes a happy fish. But remember, Tommy, this isn't a one-time thing. You need to clean my bowl regularly to keep me healthy. How often should I do this? Tommy asked, eager to learn. For a bowl my size, you should do a partial water change once a week and a full cleaning like this every 2 weeks, Bubbles explained. And don't forget to feed me just a little bit twice a day. Too much food can make the water dirty quickly. Tommy nodded seriously. I understand, Bubbles. I promise I'll take better care of you from now on. I'm sorry I forgot before. Bubbles swam up to the side of the bowl closest to Tommy. It's okay, Tommy. Everyone makes mistakes. The important thing is that you learned from it. Being responsible means doing what you need to do, even when you don't feel like it. It means keeping your promises and taking care of those who depend on you. Tommy smiled, feeling proud that he had learned such an important lesson. Thank you for teaching me, Bubbles. You're the best pet and friend I could ask for. From that day forward, Tommy never forgot to take care of Bubbles. He cleaned the bowl regularly, fed Bubbles the right amount, and even started researching more ways to keep his finned friend happy and healthy. Tommy's parents were impressed by how responsible he had become. As for Bubbles, he never spoke again, but sometimes, when Tommy was taking extra good care of him, the little fish would do a special dance in his sparkling clean bowl. And Tommy knew that was Bubbles' way of saying thank you for being such a responsible pet owner. The end. And now the correct answer to the riddle. The correct answer is 3 years. Many people believe goldfish have very short memories, but this is actually a myth. Studies have shown that goldfish can remember things for several months and even up to 3 years. They can learn to associate certain sounds with feeding time, recognize different shapes and colors, and even remember simple tasks. The myth that goldfish have a 3-second memory has been widely circulated, but it's not based on scientific fact. This misconception likely arose from the goldfish's seemingly repetitive behavior in small tanks, where they appear to rediscover their surroundings constantly. In reality, goldfish have quite impressive cognitive abilities for their size. Studies have shown that goldfish can retain information for several months to years. In controlled experiments, goldfish have demonstrated the ability to remember feeding schedules, recognize shapes and colors, and even distinguish between different pieces of music. Goldfish can be trained to perform simple tasks. For example, they can learn to push levers for food rewards or navigate mazes. This ability to learn and remember tasks indicates a more sophisticated memory than previously thought. Goldfish can recognize and remember individual fish in their group. This social memory helps them establish hierarchies and relationships within their environment. Goldfish have been observed anticipating regular feeding times, showing they can perceive and remember patterns over time. They can create mental maps of their environment, helping them navigate even in larger ponds or aquariums. The misconception about goldfish memory highlights the importance of challenging assumptions and conducting proper scientific research. It also serves as a reminder that even small creatures can have complex cognitive abilities.